entitled white piece of shit!
This is Trump! It's a beautiful day in New York. Why is it that we get more and more susceptible conspiracy theories as time goes on? We don't seem like the kind of country where they would have as much traction as they do now in our contemporary era in politics. Part of the reason why we're so susceptible to conspiracy theories right now is that guys like Alex Jones make a ton of money circulating them as widely as they possibly can. They use multiple platforms. They use talk radio and the internet, and they live stream their kind of fake TV shows, and they make a very good living doing it. And they're going to be around because of it for a long time. And usually this kind of stuff has no major effect on the United States of America other than lowering our median IQ a couple of points and making us seem slightly more embarrassing on an international stage. Right? For every additional year they circulate their insane alien lizard beak theories and everything, we get a little bit dumber, and that's the major effect it has on the United States of America. But this year's different. And then secrecy yesterday. For an hour and a half, the press corps, the protected press pool, the pool of reporters, which is supposed to be with.
Jerry, you want some? Yeah, I got some here. Jerry, take a drink. You look a little dehydrated, brother. You seem a little dehydrated. You okay?
Took a little longer on the floor than I had anticipated in the custody of the border. Everyone, he started sending signals, the U.S., Mexico, Canada. If that's not the accurate character, some people call it after NAFTA, some call it NAFTA 2.0, working together to make past that.
You seem a little dehydrated. You okay?
Oh, boy. So here's Pelosi and Nadler. They can't
even... We get the crazy looks all the time. This is honestly not even the first time. This is the second time I've been attacked for being a Trump supporter. The last time it was Antifa. This time it was this black man that jumped out of his car because he was so triggered that there was Trump supporters on a corner where he felt threatened to get off of his vehicle and get in every single space. He got in everybody's face there talking about F Trump. That's the only thing that ever came out of his mouth. And as he was walking away trying to get in his car, he comes back charging towards me and spits at me. And I fell back a little bit and I laughed at him because I was more than amused at the fact that he had the audacity to come and spit at a woman's face when there's a bunch of men there that he's not willing to take on.
And what about the men? I mean, I'm not sitting here trying to call violence or anything, but I mean, to me, like, that guy's lucky he wasn't, treated the way he should have been.
Exactly. He should have had his head freaking knocked off. But we already knew that if we attacked him and he would have been on the floor, we already knew the media was going to spin it in every single.
Oh my gosh, exactly. See that exactly. If anyone would have even lifted if anyone would have even lifted a finger on that guy, they would have made him the victim. See, it's so perfect that it played out this way now because nobody did anything wrong to that guy. He acts like a total lunatic, violent, bullying, intimidating people, spits on a woman's face. Nobody even raises a finger. We just want to make a national story out of it. But seriously, I mean, could you even believe it? I mean, he comes up to you. First of all, he approaches you so aggressively. I mean, you're just a woman standing there. He approaches you so aggressively and then just spits in your face. I mean, were you shocked? I mean, what was going through your head?
Well, growing up in South Central, I'm really not scared of this type of stuff. So it wasn't so much that I was scared. It was amusing that a man that runs the streets that claims that they're out there gangbanging. And as far as I know, street code, you don't attack women and you don't attack children. So why are you getting off your car to attack women? Now, he's on his Instagram. I just found out he's a famous actor. He's on Instagram calling for violence, talking about all the gangs need to get united and attack Trump supporters. Seriously? Is this where we're going? You need to round up the gangs in South Central. Nipsey Hussle just got killed, and apparently he's an associate of Nipsey Hussle, so I'm pretty sure he's very gang-related.
Well, I wouldn't take anything that guy says as truth. If he claims he's associated with Nipsey Hussle, I would be very skeptical of that. But yeah, there he is on Instagram. He's got, I believe he has over 100,000 followers. He's on there promoting violence. InfoWars isn't allowed on InfoWars, or on Instagram. But this guy's allowed to go on there, promote gang violence. Gang violence, mind you. I mean, that should be the police should be investigating this guy.
Exactly. They should be investigating him. He shouldn't have got off and attacked anyone. And if your children are in the car and now you want to make yourself look like the victim, you're not the victim. He's on his Instagram talking about black and brown love need to stick together. You literally attacked and spit on a brown woman's face. Where's the black and the brown love he's talking about? He's not preaching what he's doing. This is madness.
Well, that's typical of a liberal. But let me tell you, even though I get so mad watching this, I really kind of like my last guest, Brandon, said, I'm glad nothing happened to this guy. Now, I mean, it's actually a good thing. I mean, sometimes instant karma is the universe's way of saying, hey, but for this moment, I'm glad nothing happened to this guy. I'm glad people were able to maintain their calm, even though he assaulted a woman and was looking for a fight. I mean, he's obviously looking for a fight.
Yeah, he was looking
Luckily,
for a fight.
he didn't get the fight he was looking for. But now it's the perfect situation. Here's another example. A violent, radical leftist assault a woman and bullying, intimidating people, calling for violence on social media. The national press doesn't blink an eye. He doesn't get banned from Instagram. And this is what I've said the whole show today. If this story doesn't show you the double standard and the agenda of the national media, I don't know what will.
Exactly. I 100% agree. Another thing I wanted to point out was that, God, I forgot.
It's all right. I know I get long-winded here. We're just rolling the B-roll of this crazed leftist as he's... And the hate, too. Like, why is he so hateful? Like, what has Trump even done? That's another thing. Like, what has Trump even done that makes you so mad? Nothing. But the media says and lies about Trump.
That's what we kept telling them, to stop believing the media lies. If he wanted to have a discussion, we were willing to have a discussion with him. This man is claiming that we called him the N-word. We had a bunch of black Trump supporters at our rally that day.
Give me a break. I guarantee you that guy says the N-word all day long, listens to rap music. I'm sick of this crap.
He called us the N-word the whole time he was ranting his mouth away. We had a black reverend with his church people there trying to stop the confrontation, and he got in that man's face as well. So what does that tell us? You're not preaching you're not practicing what you're preaching. You're just a hateful man, believing the lies. And honestly, before he drove off, he yelled out the window, "It's all about Obama." Seriously, brainwashed Obama. Brainwashed.
And you know what's funny, too? When I first started getting into this, I'm from St. Louis. Obviously, a lot of black people in St. Louis. When I first started getting into conspiracy theories and stuff, most black people, study the Illuminati and believe in this stuff. And so it's really odd that, that aspect, because, black people were obviously, discriminated against in this country. And there was some top-level elite stuff against them. That's why they're so privy to it. But it's like somehow once Obama came along, they just forgot about all of it now. Like Obama lulled black people into some weird sleep that now they just hate white people instead of the overall establishment that's attacking humanity in general. Oh, it's just unbelievable.
And now we see witnesses invited by the minority who openly associate with purveyors of hate. White nationalism and its proliferation online have real consequences. Americans have died because of it. I did not call this hearing so that some may promote the very messages we need to combat. We must together rebuke those who seek to divide us through a message of hate.
How is YouTube working to stop the spread of far-right conspiracies intent on skewing users' perceptions of fact and fiction?
So I thank the chairman for convening this hearing and regret that there are some on this panel who have tried to hijack this hearing and desecrate the lives lost to the hate crimes and violence of white supremacists by attempting to use this as an opportunity to promote a political position or a political party. And I think that is despicable and deeply regrettable.
Yes, I actually wanted to respond to Congressman Cicilline because he was making references to me, and I thought that was a bit cowardly. He said he was dishonest when he said that the president refused to condemn white nationalism. Mr. Potts just literally gave the exact quote of the president doing just that. He does not want to accept the reality that the president has under multiple occasions condemned white supremacy and white nationalism, and the best condemnation of that is in the president helping the black community every single day with his policies.
Of all the people that Republicans could have selected, they picked Candace Owens. I don't know Miss Owens. I'm not going to characterize her. I'm going to let her own words do the talking.
I actually don't have any problems at all with the word nationalism. I think that it gets, the definition gets poisoned by elitists that actually want globalism. Globalism is what I don't want. So when you think about, whenever we say nationalism, the first thing people think about, at least in America, is Hitler.
So when people try to legitimize Adolf Hitler, does that feed into white nationalist ideology?
It does, Mr. Liu.
Yes, I think it's pretty apparent that Mr. Liu believes that black people are stupid and will not pursue the full clip in its entirety. He purposely presented an extracted clip.
The witness will suspend for a moment. It is not proper to refer disparagingly or to a member of the committee, the witness will not do that again. Witness may continue.
Sure, even though I was called despicable.
Witness may not refer to a member of the committee as stupid.
I didn't refer to him as stupid. That's not what I said. That's not what I said at all. You didn't listen to what I said. May I continue?
Please.
As I said, he is assuming that black people will not go pursue the full 2-hour clip. And he purposefully he cut off, and you didn't hear the question that was asked of me. He's trying to present as if I was launching a defense of Hitler in Germany, when in fact, the question that was asked of me was pertaining to whether or not I believed that whether or not I believed in nationalism, and that nationalism was bad. And what I responded to was that I do not believe that we should be characterizing Hitler as a nationalist. He was a homicidal, psychopathic maniac that killed his own people. A nationalist would not kill their own people. That is exactly what I was referring to in the clip, and he purposely wanted to give you a cut-up similar to what they do to Donald Trump to create a different narrative. That was unbelievably dishonest, and he did not allow me to respond to it, which is worrisome and should tell you a lot about where people are today in terms of trying to drum up narratives.
On one side, the ADL brought the lucrative anti-white and pro-reparations agenda.
The core ideology of white nationalists, which is a euphemism for white supremacists, is the belief in the imminent extinction of the white race because of a flood of non-white people and other people that they feel are degenerate, all orchestrated, puppeteered by Jews.
Sheila Jackson Lee even managed to put Thomas Jefferson on the spot.
You mentioned, if you would just very quickly just say it again, Mr. Thomas Jefferson's assessment of slaves. Could you just say that again for the record?
Intellectually inferior. We are unattractive physically. And let me find the last horrible thing he said. There's no tenderness in our love.
In the middle, the social media overlords, who determine what is now hate speech and what isn't based on the massive leftist bias in Silicon Valley.
Here you have someone that's calling, we crush the United States under our feet, etc. That was reported, and within a minute, the report came back from Instagram that there's no problem here. Basically, these aren't the drones you're looking for, just move on. If you're going to enforce these standards, why are they so quickly enforced and erroneously enforced against people like my friends Diamond and Silk? And why someone who wants to destroy the United States and kill everyone in this room gets a pass when others don't?
Thank you, Congressman. I'm not familiar with that exact example.
And on the far end, lightning bolts of reason and modern American patriotic frustration.
What are your thoughts about President Trump's remarks regarding the Charlottesville demonstration, where he's quoted saying, "You also had some very fine people on both sides"?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because the media has really completely distorted the truth of that episode. What he meant, and he said so when he said it, is that they're fine people who want to get rid of Robert E. Lee's statue, and they're fine people who are not haters, who believe for historical reasons they want to keep that statue. And he made that clear. And then in the same breath, Mr. Gomer, in the same breath, President Trump said, quote, "I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists when I say fine people, because they should be condemned totally." And yet the media has never made that clear, that he, in that statement, he condemned neo-Nazis and white nationalists. He did not mean that they were fine people. Quite the contrary. He's disgusted by those people.
Do you consider yourself a conservative?
I am a conservative, yes.
Okay. Are you pro-life?
I am pro-life.
Okay. Does that trigger people when you see them, that they know that you're pro-life?
It makes them very upset, and Democrats hate me.
Do you hate Americans with black skin color?
Absolutely not. I actually love Americans with black skin color so much that I'm willing to fall on the sword 1,000 times for them to wake up and realize that we are being lied to, abused, and used by the Democrat Party.
How about Americans with white skin color? Do you hate them?
I do not, and that's a problem for people on the left.
Do you hate Hispanics?
I do not.
Do you hate Asians?
I do not.
Do you hate lesbians or gays or anybody from the LGBTQ community?
Nope, I've got all of that in my family.
I'm baffled because in the chairman's opening statement, he said that you openly associate with purveyors of hate.
Yes, purveyors of hate, by his definition, is anybody that supports the president. I support the president because he's done a tremendous job in helping the black community, despite all of the rhetoric from the media and leftists. Bottom line, is that white supremacy, racism, white nationalism, words that once held real meaning, have now become nothing more than election strategies. Every 4 years, the black community is offered handouts and fear. Handouts and fear. Reparations and white nationalism. This is the Democrat preview.
In response to Turning Point USA's communications director Candace Owens' testimony, actor Jeffrey Thorne said that conservatives will never accept her, adding, "They will never think of you as anything but an obedient, as if all American conservatives are white and are simply Klansmen posing as politicians."
Oh, well, I just see right now Candace Owens is getting 15 minutes of fame, and just give me 30 seconds to prove my point. She just again assumed that all Democrats are hoping that black people felt. On her interview with C-SPAN, she says that the word nationalism has been compromised or poisoned by elitists. Tell that to the people in Charlottesville.
I am confident in my ideas. I am confident in the fact that black America is waking up and realizing that we have been missing out. I am confident that the biggest issue facing our community is father absence, which further deconstructs everything that is happening. Stop cutting me off. I didn't cut you off, okay? I have not attacked you.
If you want to combat hate, Democrats, how about eliminating your daily manipulation of it as a political strategy?